Good evening, I'm Laura Lee. Thanks for joining us tonight. Duluth City Council voted 7-2 last night to keep two Lester Park Golf Course petitions off the November ballot, claiming state law would override a local vote like this. Well, Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson sat down with Mayor Roger Reiner today to break down the decision and what comes next. Kyrie?
Laura, it's a debate that's been building for years, and city leaders say it traces back to 2020 when Lester Park Golf Course closed and questions about its future took off. Last night's vote was the latest example of the controversy, but Mayor Reiner says the bigger decision is still ahead, with the land use study in the works. Reiner says it's been a long-running discussion, with priorities like green space, recreation, and possible housing on Lester Park Golf Course. But last year's park status vote intensified the backlash.
All of that separate from the question the council was presented last night, which was, are these ballot questions actually legal questions that the council can put on the ballot?
The mayor, along with the majority of the council, under guidance by the city attorney, believe the answer is no.
We had a pretty clear opinion that they're not legal questions because the zoning area related to land use is actually superseded by state law.
Many residents opposed the vote, especially petition signers seeking a public referendum.
A certified petition goes to the voters unless it is manifestly invalid. So clearly unlawful, there is nothing left for a court to decide.
But Mayor Reinert says it isn't that simple.
Often we are asked to make the right policy decision. That's not necessarily the popular or political one.
Reinert called it good governance, but says backlash has been unfair, reigniting tension over claims he influenced the legal opinion.
What concerns me about this sort of attacking people's integrity and ethics for short-term political points is long-term harm to the organization.
In regard to the current lawsuit against the city, Reinert says it's time to seek a quick district court ruling.
We believe there will be a positive ruling, but that needs to happen since it is an election-related question.
He urges people to stay engaged, saying despite online rumors, no developer deals have been made and the land use study is still underway.
It is really easy to say no. It is much harder to say maybe no but or yes and, which are some of the more challenging things we have to do as city leaders.
The land use study recommendations will be made public at an open house on Thursday. However, there's plenty of information on the study already available to the public, which we'll have linked on our website at northernnewsnow.com. Live in studio, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.